Welcome back to the Cuddlepunk Podcast. I am your host, the provider, Veronica Vex. With me today, two members of, frankly, what has been one of my favorite bands of the last 2 years. I was fortunate enough to see them for the first time at Coachella 8 last year in beautiful Bowling Green, Ohio. Their music has helped me through so much of the last horrible 2 years. Liam Hughes and Jay Holzman of EKKO motherfucking ASTRAL are with us today. EKKO, how we doing?
Doing good, yeah. Enjoying a nice, surprisingly warm weekend in April. But that goes how DC goes.
Yeah, it's about to be pure hell in probably like a week or two.
Mm-hmm.
The weather's been so, just switching back and forth between cold and hot here in Chicago. My sinuses are not thanking the weather changes right now.
Yeah, we feel that. We had like 90 degrees the other day, and now it's like a beautiful 70, breezy, and then it's supposed to dip down back into like the 40s, I think, next week or something. So
yeah.
It's gonna be like.
You live with it. You live and you learn with the warmth, you know?
Absolutely. Let's start off at Coachella 8, actually, because seeing y'all perform live for the first time, because I had been a fan since Pink Balloons first came out. Spectrum Pulse was the one who got me into it, which I've said many a time. You guys started off your set with Maps by Yeah Yeah Yeahs. That was, I imagine, just a Coachella 8 thing. What was the inspiration between starting off with that song?
That was Liam's idea, wasn't it?
Well, so we had learned the cover when we did Liberation Weekend last year because we had like a special cover set. So we did a bunch of collabs with people. And so we had done Maps with Big Girl. And I remember just thinking it sounded fucking awesome. And I was like, I want to do that again. I also just love that song. And I thought it sounded great as a 3-piece. So we were thinking about what to do. And we're like, Coachella is a big party. We wanted to kind of started off by getting people's attention with something they knew.
Right?
I
mean, that's essentially it. It was that I love the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, especially the early stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's just a really fun song to sing, you know. Like that's the that's the story behind that one. I wish there was more to it.
Yeah,
I'll give you some poetry or something.
That was a big I can't remember if it was Rock Band or guitar, but I know that was a big somebody has to do vocals for that one on Guitar Hero.
On Rock Band, it was like when you'd play Rock Band Story, you would have to sing that song way too many times, and I hated doing that. I did that one time trying to do Rock Band Story. Rock Band Story is a pretty good barometer for how being in a rock band and going through the industry actually feels, because they're just in all these different video game levels. That's performing music, I think, is just endless video game levels.
Interesting. I haven't played Rock Band so long. I don't even remember how the story mode works. But I mean, you're basically just playing songs and then you just get progressively harder, isn't that?
Yeah, but you have to repeat songs.
Oh yeah.
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 Which is how it goes. But you would think that they would want to avoid that kind of boredom, you know?
Yeah, well, they can only get the rights to so many.
That's true. Songs. You can only get the rights to so many songs these days.
Yeah.
See, I was a Guitar Hero girly more than a Rock Band girly for sure. So I'm for Guitar Hero, it was always you would get gigs and then you'd have to play a certain number of songs. I think at that point, I was mostly Guitar Hero World Tour, and I think that at that point, Rock Band had just started off, but Guitar Hero was really upping the number of songs that they had in those games, because that was the one that I remember had Hayley Williams and Ozzy Osbourne as playable characters in that game.
Oh man.
Yeah, I never played Guitar Hero, but you definitely had Rock Band. I remember I had a fake band in beginning of high school with I had friends, and they'd come over consistently, and we were called the Greasy Iron Turkey Fist, and I was on bass, my buddy was on guitar, my friend JP was on vocals, even though he couldn't sing for shit, and then had a friend on drums, and we treated it like a real band. It was crazy.
Yeah, I was a huge Guitar Hero kid. Guitar Hero is one of the main reasons I started actually learning how to play guitar. My dad was friends with this guy who unfortunately passed away due to illness a few years ago, who worked at Bethesda Games and brought home one of the prototypes, the pilot, the beta whatevers of the first Guitar Hero game.
Oh, wow.
And that was how I first started playing guitar, was like playing Smoke on the Water on Guitar Hero. And like I had Guitar Hero 1, 2, the 80s, 3, I had 4, which was World Tour, although overrated game in my opinion.
The drums, I will fight right now.
I'm sorry, the cymbals in that game, like the design for the cymbals in that game, like were so frustrating. Like it wasn't.
You would call that game overrated specifically for the cymbals on the drum kit.
Yeah, it was just not. It was not fun to play the kit on that game. Like, which by the way, like as an aside, like the only song I even know how to play on the drums is Enter Sandman, because the drum part on Rock Band is exactly the same to the actual part. Like the exact same.
Well, that was the thing with Rock Band, because Rock Band had the cymbal expansion pack, and like that's actually how I learned how to play drums, was because of Rock Band. Because like, yeah, you like once you got the single expansion pack, you were actually just straight up playing the drum beats. So, and I'm sure Guitar Hero is probably comparable. But...
I wish I had never had a drum set. So like I never had a Guitar Hero drum set. So I wish maybe that's how I'll eventually learn how to play drums, is I'll just find like a Hero or Rock Band drum kit and just start playing along for that.
You should. Yeah. Although hopefully your neighbors are forgiving, because there's no way my upstairs neighbor would be cool with me even just banging on a kit.
We
like
have
that.
a mutual understanding. There's a lot of Liam, you've been in this apartment. You know the chaos that happens here.
Yeah. That's fair.
Let's go on to the live album, Fuck This Band Live at Chapel. First of all, there are a lot of bands who are not able to capture the live sound properly. Like, when you have a live show, it doesn't always translate to the live album. I cannot stress enough how well y'all's show translates on this album.
Thank you.
Incredible. It definitely, I feel like it feels gauche or cliche to like make this comparison. The first thing that I thought of while listening to it was A Beautiful Thing live at Bataclan by Idols. Like, it's very similar. Like,
you know what's funny? I actually, because I mixed it. I actually used that album to help me as like a mixed reference, just for like, you know, where like the basic levels of things are placed, and like, yeah. So that's actually pretty funny you bring that up.
Wasn't Jeremy on that tour?
Yeah. I think Jeremy was
on that tour. I'm pretty sure he worked on the movie.
Oh yeah.
That's funny.
Right.
That's awesome.
Full circle.
Yeah, we're really proud of it. Like,
we are.
Fuck This Band is like the best sounding live recording this band's put out, but like more importantly, it's just this like orb of visceral energy and noise that, like, at least me personally, I feel like it sums up a lot of what this band is capable of.
Yeah, and it was a true pleasure to be able to like actually play shows with Jeremy, because like, other than we played with him in the studio in December, but before that, we had never actually just, like, we'd played music in front of him, or if he's in another room, but we've never, like, actually had him behind the kit in that way, where he's playing all these songs, and, yeah, it was really a pleasure to be able to do that with our producer.
It really was.
Because this wasn't your first live piece of music that you had put out. You put out
we had the Quartz Farewell come out.
Farewell back in that EP in 2023, which was, I call that y'all's like The Black Parade is Dead.
I mean, that was like, I feel like there's like there's that, and there's like a couple other like signposts from that era that like different pieces of art that we did that, you know, are definitely this band as like very, very much in the rough and like a baby, you know, like a little infant. But it's beautiful to look back on those times. You know, we have those recordings still. We definitely are trying to prioritize the live record though, because I feel like back then, like, this band still didn't really know what it sounded like or where it was going. Definitely still more of like a party band, more of like a scene thing.
Yeah, you know? A little more chaotic on stage.
Yeah, you can say that.
Yeah.
I love that. I want to talk about, like, so what goes into the creation of a live record, and what I mean is, like, obviously when somebody is working on an album, I'm working on music right now. you're trying to pull from all these different influences that you want to bring into your music, all these different albums on a studio recording. When it comes to a live album, is there like that kind of wanting to pull from like a Rush live album or like the Idols live album or anything of that nature?
Oh, I mean, like the best live records I feel have an element of like you can really capture the it's hard to say it other way than energy that the project is trying to put out, you know, like one of my favorite live records is actually it's the Ditz live record they put out a couple years ago, and you can kind of just hear in it this very gruesome and grimy shadow, and even like the mix and the performance, it's all rough enough that you can hear how it's supposed to really sound, you know, like because the studio recording is not how a band really sounds. Like
depends if you were Steve Albini.
Okay, like we love Steve, but like it's not like that's not even then. It's like that's not how the band actually would sound if you were in the room. It's like there's an element of there's an element of like, okay, come on.
It's like, the philosophy at least is to try and get as close as possible.
This is me saying this in front of a studio engineer. So like you gotta understand, like we're gonna bicker on that one, but that's like true. There's something about, you know, like his film. For reference, like a film captures the action versus the theater, right? But there's like a difference between there's a difference between like we talked about this when I was in like film theory courses, where it's like there's a difference between a movie version of a musical and like a musical captured on tape with like different camera angles and stuff that are there to like more like just add a layer of filmic energy to the musical experience, but you're mostly just experiencing the theater play. It's a lot like that, where you have to have considerations for just how few angles the ordinary listener would actually have to hear it. You know, like when you're in that room, like you can't be up on stage, you can't be up close to the kick drum, you know, like you can't be like up against the amp. You have only so many factors, and I think even down to the way that we perform the tunes and the different kinds of energies we brought to things, like there are decisions, creative choices that I made with my performance, and like the parts that I decided to play on, for like Beethoven, for example. Like Beethoven on the studio record is like just one riff, like da 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 da. But like on the live record when we went on tour with McKlusky, like knowing that the recording was going to be there, I was like, okay, well, like I'm gonna switch up that part a bunch because there's usually a bunch of other elements going on, and also like we're playing it to tempo, but it's only 3 parts, so I started improvising over the course of the tour and like finding the right parts in the right pockets, like different kind of sludge stuff. Another thing with like uwu type beat, for example, like there's on the second verse there's like an element of rhythm there that I wanted to capture, where it's like there was only one guitar on stage, but there's 2 on the record. And so I was personally thinking, like, how can I modify my bass part? So I was like, instead of just being like, dun, 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 it's like I made it more complicated. I was like, dun, 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 like, so that it adds a layer of added rhythm. Just kind of represented that stuff, you know? You gotta take into account how the format really does change.
Yeah, and then like as far as the mixing goes, honestly, mixing live records and in my experience, like as much as I've mixed for us and some other artists, it's a lot easier in some ways than mixing a record, because like there's an expectation that like I didn't want to add anything crazy. It's like it is what it is. I'm not going to be editing the performance. I'm not going to be really doing anything other than just trying to make each thing kind of sound like it all was in the same room and make sense, because it's like what the multi-tracks we got from the chapel, which were just like what's fed to the PA, but I got the individualized ones, is like dry and everything's directly up against things, which isn't how it's heard in the room, because you're hearing a mix through PA that's got a little probably reverb in it, and the room has a sound. You're also hearing like the actual drum set in the room on top of the mics, and you're hearing the guitar amps in the room on top of the mics. So basically what I tried to do with the record was to try and add a little bit of echo and reverb that didn't feel like it was too on top of things, but kind of created a sense of space. And then I tried to just stick to that general sound. Like I would tweak levels and things like that, but I tried to not really mess with that general tone so that it all kind of sounds consistently in the same place. So that was one of my goals, was like I wanted the songs to sound like they were all part of the same performance. Because like, you know, I could have just like went crazy and like edited and stuff, but it's against the spirit of what the live record's supposed to be, which is just capturing the energy and the authenticity of what we did, you know?
Speaking of that, like, authenticity of the show, Jay, when the album begins, there's that usual, like, Jay snark that everybody is used to on stage. But I'm noticing, as the album is going on, there's a sincerity in your voice that really starts to take over, where it feels like the snark is being used as a buffer, and it kind of, the sincerity starts bleeding through. I know we're not going to get into the specifics of it, but there's been a lot going on with y'all. I kind of want to know, what was the feeling going into that particular show that became Fuck This Band? Like, what was the general vibe at that point?
Yeah, I mean,
we can skip this if you need to.
No, I'm an open book. Yeah, what happened before the tour, over the span of months, was one of the most tumultuous and heartbreaking periods of our lives. And, you know, there is a lot that could be said about that that's better left offline. Always has been. But I personally believe that, you know, music can heal. And that's really what happened over the course of that tour. Like, that first night, I was on stage, and we rocked the set. Like, people loved us in Seattle that first night, but I was really not okay. And our friend Frank, I like went outside after the set and like cried in his arms, and I was like, I don't really know if I can do this anymore. You know, like, I don't know if I can, like I don't really know what I'm really here for. I don't know what any of this is for. You know, I don't even know what the point of any of this is, you know, and like that was really a hard moment. At the course of the tour, though, like we definitely started to find our footing.
Oh yeah.
You know, like we played Boise, and the room was at capacity for us in spite of everything, and just fucking packed, and it was a party atmosphere. People were going nuts for us, and then we played we played Portland. That was a fantastic show. Mm-hmm. It started to really feel like things were kind of coalescing in a way. The day before we played San Francisco, we drove through a lot of redwoods, a lot of Northern California, and there were moments of solitude and beauty there that also allowed us to reflect. And we were talking throughout the whole tour about like what we wanted to do, what the future of any of this was. And so we get to San Francisco, we get to the chapel, and you know, we know it's an important night, but the moment we got on stage, I kind of had this almost reserved feeling, like if I let myself get too emotional or too hot on the mic, like maybe I shouldn't do that this time, or shouldn't get too kind of wrapped up in my own, as you put it, snark. It's funny that you say that.
Calls it like I sees it.
Yeah, I mean, you're the whole snark as a buffer for sincerity, you know, like I think deep down the experience of the past 6 months has really led to a crisis of faith in myself that that is really hard to process and really hard to imagine before this, honestly. I think the goal of performance is to kind of let that out in a way that's healthy, in a way that can provide catharsis to others, and to kind of take the feelings that you have and to build space for others to feel with you and to feel their own feelings. That performance was magic by the end. Like, there was something very much on the edge of the world about our set that night, and yeah, it felt like by the end I was like, damn, like we fucking, that was exactly what it needed to be for us inside, and yet somehow also captured on tape.
And also, one thing that was really encouraging when we were out there was just the sheer amount of people that came to those shows for us. Like, all the way on the West Coast, you know? Like, we're hardly ever there. So the fact that we had enough people that every night, like, there's multiple people that came up to us after the show saying they came for us. They liked McKlusky, but they were like, you know, I wasn't there for them. You could even hear at the beginning of the show when JL makes a joke about, oh, like, you know, we're the band that plays for the band you really came to see. And someone goes, we came for you. Like, you had people front row at all those shows. So that, I think, really helped encourage us, too. But it's like knowing that there's still people out there that fuck with us and fuck with the music and want to hear it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, I think that tour and that night really revealed to me that there's like a real difference between like the way that your head feels and like the way the real world feels, you know? Like, you can get really inside yourself when you go through like rejection or defeat, where it's like, shit, like maybe no one fucking likes me. Maybe like I should just fucking like drop off the face of the earth and some shit, you know? And like, I've definitely struggled with that stuff. There was a lot about that tour that was like an antidote to that feeling, and a lot of love, a fuck ton of love at every show.
And some great conversations with Jeremy on the road.
And if anyone is listening who was there, like, thank you for coming.
Yes.
There is a term that continues to come back every time I talk about y'all, and I've discussed this with both of you before, and it's the vibe that I got from Pink Balloons that first got me into y'all, which is joy as an act of resistance. It is this thing that continues to permeate through not even necessarily just the music. It just seems like every era of EKKO ASTRAL, which is so funny because I've talked to the both of y'all, which, first of all, I want to say I'm super proud of the both of y'all. Like, the two of you are my friends. I am incredibly proud of you for continuing on with this band. But it's so funny because we've been talking about The Beltway is Burning for what feels like a year now, the album that was originally supposed to come out on the 22nd. I remember the main thing from both of y'all was how this was the anti-Joyous and Active Resistance album.
Yeah.
And then it comes full circle with this being the tour that ends up in a way saving the band through that exact thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I think The Beltway is Burning, when it drops, I think there's an element of concept in how anti-joy it is, in a way. It really is like an absolute fucking madhouse concept record that is doomer in a way to be doomer, but there's also like a reason to have space for nihilism. I mean, I am learning to embrace nihilism these days. But yeah, like it was serendipitous in a way.
Well, and remember too, nihilism doesn't mean that like the world doesn't have meaning. It just means that you have to make it yourself, right? And that there's no inherent meaning to the world, that you are alone the maker of your own meaning. Right?
Sure.
It's like, instead of being nothing matters, why do anything? It should be nothing matters. That means we have to do everything.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And that's been the vibe from everything that I have heard from y'all so far, which is why you have become one of my favorite bands. Even on this record, though, on the live album, there's a moment where you're about to start getting into the songs from Pink Balloons where you say that album is from a time where there was still hope, which I'm not gonna deny that it seems incredibly hopeless out there, but I think no matter what the like way in is, the way out is always hoping for a better future and fighting for a better future from y'all's music.
Yeah, I mean, that's where the snark came in. Like, that line is definitely one of the lines where I'm like, when hope was a thing, give it up for hope. Give it up for hope. Yeah, that next line is really important to understand the context of like what I was setting up there, because that was a joke. Yeah.
I know the songs from that album still sound incredible live. All the songs that are going to eventually be on Beltway is Burning sound sick as hell live. Stuffing My Fingers into a Meat Grinder is a song that we've been getting teased for a little bit now. Was that song written for the Beltway is Burning, or is that something that came out of the unpleasantness?
Yeah, I mean, that was out of the unpleasantness. You know, like, writing music to process real-time emotions is really important for me, at least. Like I do music for my own therapy. Like, that's like always been how I process a lot of the worst shit I go through, and the best shit, you know, like when I fall in love, you know, like when I have a good day, you know, there's really good and happy days that wind up songs, and sad days and hard days. That's a lot. The way that is for a lot of artists. I think Stuffing My Fingers into a Meat Grinder went through a lot of different iterations, and it will continue to evolve, that song, as we keep working on it. Yeah, like, essentially the goal was to really, I found myself like repeating mantras when we were going through the initial days of like whatever that clusterfuck was. Yeah, and like I would just like kind of repeat mantras to myself, and then someone told me that I sounded a lot like Bart Simpson at the chalkboard, and I was like, oh my god, that's really poetic. And that's where that song first came from, is like the I'm Bart Simpson in detention doing the chalk thing. It's like the chalk thing is like him like writing like, I will not pants Nelson at lunch and say haha, you know, like that's where that came from. There's like some, you know, like spicy lyrical nods to like shit that I personally wanted to say, you know, and like some points to make about things that happened, but you know, that's best left for interpretation, I would say.
I think so. That's one of my favorite things about your lyric writing, Jay, is the way that you incorporate pop culture into your lyrics. Like, even just the entire Adam Sandler song is, in my mind, it is a complete and total work of genius.
You want to talk about Sandler?
Well, yeah, I mean, Sandler, I don't know if you know anything about, like, the backstory of that.
That song took 10 years to write.
Yeah,
I remember you telling me about that, how that song, you've been working on that song for an incredibly long time.
Well, like, it initially started when we were in college, with our first band, Drunk College Kids. And I think it was just called Adam Sandler at the time. You know, we have a recording of that, too. It's probably never going to see the light of day, but it doesn't have a lot in common musically with the original Adam Sandler. There's some things maybe that might have leaked over, but the key thing though is that that first verse that has been the same since 2015, I think. Since
the beginning of the song.
Yeah. So that's been the through line, and then like when we started EKKO, we didn't immediately get back to work on Adam Sandler, but then I think it was after we'd recorded Pink Balloons. Right?
Yeah, after Pink Balloons, I came back to the tune and found myself wanting to like make it into a story, and I came up with the second verse, and then
walks inside his bank on Mondays mid-robbery.
Yeah, and then the third verse kind of like Liam and I kept like joking like, what else should Sandler do?
Yeah.
And then in the studio, like I kind of just like wound up creating the rest of the story. Like, so what happens is over the course of Sandler's creation, like we end up watching 10 years of life, and then the evolution of our country and the evolution of our culture is like represented in the different versions of Sandler that we wrote over a decade until you get to,
because there's no way that you could have written the song this way
10 years ago,
because there's the entire Uncut Gems part that would not have been able to exist at that point.
Yeah, and like Adam Sandler is our next president 2036. Like I would have never written that line when we were in college before Trump was president the first time. Like there's an element to that. Although it's worth also saying like you know, there is a beauty to just having a song that develops over 10 years. One of my favorite songs of all time is Geyser by Mitski. And she's talked about how hard it was to write that song. How like it took so long to make that song. And it's not even a long song, but the chord choices and the melodies that she selected together over time produced this degree of tension and complexity that I don't think time was a hindrance for. I think it actually worked in its favor. So like some of the best songs ever take a very, very, very long time to write. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. To use an example of a band that obviously does not have a great rep right now, but for me was foundational, is Nude by Radiohead. Also, they were playing that in the 90s during OK Computer.
I don't know what you're talking about. They have a great rep. They just won the best albums bracket in Pitchfork.
Well, that's true.
They won it twice over, if you really want to think about it.
That's true. Yeah, it was like OK Computer versus Kid A, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean,
but OK Computer won, which is the right answer.
Between those two, I would say.
In Rainbows wasn't even on it. There was
no
point to it.
Right. That's the thing, because to me, it's always hard to pick between those two. I like Kid A.
The answer's in Rainbows.
In Rainbows.
The answer is in Rainbows. I'm glad we're all at least conclusive on that.
Absolutely. But then Nude is a great example, because that song's fucking beautiful. I love that song. Fight me about it. But they wrote that song, or started writing in the 90s, and originally like had like this crazy long organ solo and stuff. And imagine if they recorded that version and that was the version of Nude.
Right.
But so 10 years later, all the maturation that happens is what produced the final product. And it wouldn't be that way if they had rushed in and made it. So yeah, sometimes a song needs to age.
I mean, Burn the Witch is another example of that with Radiohead. Like that was on Moonshaped Pool, but they had been playing that for like 15 years or something like that.
Exactly. Hail of the Thief era. Yeah.
Really cool seeing like so much of your music seems so immediate that it's really cool that you're able to hold on to that feeling, even if the song takes, again, a decade to fully come to fruition. It's one of the most impressive things about y'all is that immediacy in your music.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely. We've been talking, we were talking about The Simpsons in Stuffing My Fingers into a Meat Grinder. We're going to be talking a little bit more about The Simpsons when we come back. We'll be right back with more of the Cuddlepunk Podcast. Welcome back to the Cuddlepunk Podcast. We are here with Liam and Jay from EKKO ASTRAL. We were talking about The Simpsons earlier, and as much as we all love The Simpsons, Jay and I are also big lovers and defenders even of a show that was clearly inspired by The Simpsons, but maybe doesn't get as much love or maybe a bit too much derision than it really should. And that show is South Park. What we have done here is Jay has produced two separate lists, her top 10 Simpsons episodes and her top 10 South Park episodes. I have then taken those 20 episodes of television and put them in verses. So there will be 10 competitions between Simpsons and South Park episodes, and Liam and Jay, as well as myself, if need be for a tiebreaker, will be deciding which episode is best.
There are a handful of episodes of The Simpsons, because I went over this list with Liam. There are a handful of episodes of Simpsons he has not seen, and in those instances, we must show him clips, Veronica.
Clips? I don't have clips pulled up, unfortunately.
Can we try? Yeah. Can we like pull up YouTube while we're here?
No, don't worry about it.
I will pull up YouTube on my fucking phone.
I'll concede my votes.
Pull up YouTube on your phone for sure.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I was singing "They're Sending Our Love Down the Well," and Liam was like, "I don't know what this is."
I don't like. I watched Simpsons a lot when I was younger, but like I never watched it front to back. And so like a lot of them don't stick in my memory.
Feel funny to you anymore?
Whereas South Park, like when I was like in high school, watched like all up until like
we were talking about it.
Recent.
We were talking about South Park versus Simpsons earlier.
Mm-hmm.
The conclusion that we came to is that while Simpsons has a much higher ceiling of humor, South Park has been consistently funny for much longer. South Park will still have banger episodes, whereas the time for The Simpsons to really have banger episodes, I'm pretty sure is gone.
Deep was the well for that poor little boy who stuck halfway to hell. Oh, we can't get him out to the next best
Right. Awesome.
Sorry.
Yeah, that was the thing when I was going through, because I was like just like looking up South Park episodes, just like be reminded by the titles, and I like forgot, because I haven't watched like old South Park in a while. I forgot how many like incredible episodes there are that just made me laugh even just thinking about their premise.
Classics.
Yeah.
We are gonna get started if the two of you are ready.
Sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
First up, we have Mr. Plow versus Aspen.
Ooh, snow theme.
Snow theme. There's a lot of that in these verses.
Okay, easy one for me. I'm gonna go with Mr. Plow. Although Aspen is definitely a great episode of South Park, Mr. Plow is one of the most important episodes of The Simpsons. If you know, his name is Mr. Plow. Mr. Plow, that's his name. His name again, Veronica.
Is Mr. Plow.
Yes.
There you go.
Like, Moby didn't sample fucking the, like, 80s rock song from Aspen. He sampled Mr. Plow.
Yep.
Yeah, but, I mean, hey, Aspen has the, if you don't go blah, 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 you're gonna have a bad time.
It's true. Pizza French fry.
Pizza French fry. Yeah.
Which, like, it's that's what South Park is great at, is they're so specific with, like, everybody has experience doing, like, ski lessons and having
that
episode thing happen.
That episode also totally, like, I didn't know what a timeshare was when I first saw it, and like I've never tried one because of that episode.
Oh,
like,
nor should you try one. It's a terrible idea.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
I think we're all in agreement. Mr. Plow wins this one.
Mr. Plow.
Yeah, all out.
Now, next up, Homer's Barbershop Quartet versus Christian Rock Hard.
Oh, Christian Rock Hard.
Christian Rock Hard.
Much better version of that plot line.
You just gotta take a song that's about loving someone and just replace it with Jesus, and then you're a Christian rock band.
I just love how like the whole plot line around, like, and it's so perfect now, where it's like the cops are like, just a song, just downloading it off the internet. Let me show you. And then, like, take them to see that, like, was it like
Masterpiece Kid.
Masterpiece Kid.
Island
in French Polynesia. And like it's a Gulfstream 2 instead of a Gulfstream 3. Like, then everyone like comes together to like protest by not playing music.
Oh yeah. Also the photo shoot. You gotta look off into the distance so you're contemplative.
And like then the fact that it's Murr.
Murr
record.
The best Cartman episodes end with him having, and there's two extremes. He either wins harder than anybody ever has, or he has failed harder than anybody ever has.
And that's an episode where he did both.
He did.
And like I had, and we had talked about this. I almost also had Guitar Queero on here, and like I am glad we just stuck with Christian Rock Hard so we could have like this back and forth between like the music biography plot lines. It is important to like mention though that like, you know, Homer Simpson Barbershop Quartet, that is what the episode is not called. It's called Baby on Board. Because they've got their
Baby on Board. I'm
pretty sure it's called Baby on Board.
Hold on.
It's called Baby on Board, Baby on Board.
Season 5, Episode 1, Homer's Barbershop Quartet. The song is Baby on Board, but the...
I've been ripped a new asshole listener.
Come for me, JL.
I will never do so again.
Woof. Damn, I'm embarrassed.
I don't know shit about shit.
That's so embarrassing.
I created a false memory where I Googled it before this episode and it said that. I apologize.
Well, it was probably the Mandela effect. You jump timelines.
Yeah, it was a Mandela. Yeah. Always a Mandela these days.
It's always a Mandela.
Yeah.
Let's jump to the next one. Itchy and Scratchy and Poochie versus You're Getting Old.
Oh, that's an easy one. Itchy and Scratchy and Poochie. It's one of the best episodes of The Simpsons. Liam hadn't seen Poochie. I was explaining Poochie. It's really top-notch television. But what I will say about You're Getting Old is, like, that is also one of my favorite episodes of South Park. If only because it's, like, the best serious episode of South Park. And also, like, that season, they tried a bunch of different things where they, like, jumped sharks so much that they made it sincere. Like, there was the episode where someone was killing Cartman's toys, where, like, Clyde Frog got murdered and, like, all his other toys got murdered and stuff. And it was, like, this existential crisis for Cartman. The You're Getting Old plotline, remember, the next episode is Asperger's, where, like, it's the Asperger's, but it's also, like, Stan just, like, getting hella drunk to, like, see the Matrix. You remember?
Vaguely. I don't remember Asperger's. I definitely remember
Tourette's.
You're Getting Old, though. Well, Tourette's, that one's so good. Yeah.
It's a different episode.
Itchy and Scratchy and Poochie is, I think, the best Simpsons episode about TV.
Yeah.
A lot of those where they're just commenting on TV itself. I think that one is easily the best version. It's specifically, it really sticks it to the nerds, which I really fucking appreciate.
Yeah, and I love how, like, it's a perfect version of, like, how, like, I don't know, like, was Poochie a psyop? Like, if Geese is a psyop, Poochie was a psyop.
There was no Poochie. It was Graggle the whole time.
Yeah, it was Graggle.
It was Graggle Simpson.
Mm-hmm.
Liam has no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't.
That requires context.
I gotta brush up on my
I don't feel like giving any.
That's okay. You can keep your context.
Next up, Treehouse of Horror 2 versus Make Love Not Warcraft.
Oh. Make Love Not Warcraft.
Yeah,
Make Love Not... It is widely regarded as, I think, if not the best, then the second best episode of South Park. I think, like, the fact that you get a company like Blizzard to actually associate with something like this, that, considering how litigious Blizzard is now, it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
Treehouse of Horror 2 does have some of the best Treehouse of Horror, like, stuff in it. Like, the fact the Monkey's Paw, they asked to get famous and the Simpsons get overrated was really ahead of its time, given that the Simpsons...
That's good commentary about
the
how,
Simpsons
like, the
did that.
Simpsons merch bonanza was happening.
Yeah. But, yeah, Make Love Not Warcraft by a mile. Mm-hmm.
If it was Treehouse of Horror 5, I think we would have a really hard...
Which one's that one?
That one's The Shinning. Time and Punishment, and the cafeteria one. That one, I can recite... there was a time, and I think I still can, I can recite the entirety of The Shinning from memory.
It's The Shining.
Yeah, no, but it's got, like, the parody of the Here's Johnny thing, where it's, like...
David Letterman! Yeah. I haven't shown y'all my Marge impression, have I? I don't think I've done it on the podcast.
I think I've heard it before, but you should do it on the podcast.
Yeah, let's hear it.
How did the pick trucks get on the ceiling?
That's
Whoa,
good.
That's good.
Julie sounds like she's been smoking 2 packs a day for the last 20 years. Give the job to me. Don't do AI. Give it to me.
Yeah, does AI do Simpson voices now?
Not yet, but I'm sure that'll happen.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You could probably already do it. I mean, there's enough audio you can feed into it to make your own.
Yeah, you could do audio as The Simpsons AI,
of course.
for sure.
Oh, yeah. I bet it already exists. You could probably have Bart Simpson rapping about Iran or something, just generate that.
Yeah, do the Bartman.
Next up, Lisa Goes to Washington versus The Sissy.
Lisa Goes to Washington,
This is maybe the closest one we've had so far, because we were talking about this. The Sissy is the only funny trans joke that has ever been on South Park, outside of, like, some of the Caitlyn Jenner
okay,
stuff.
wait. I want to retract my claim on that really important claim that I want to retract, because there was actually, we were talking about this before, that there actually was a good episode that had another funny trans joke, and that's the 2-parter where Cartman freezes himself to get a wee and then winds up in the future, because Mrs. Garrison, remember this, we don't talk enough about this, Mrs. Garrison has a sexual tryst with fucking Richard Dawkins.
That's
yes.
And what's hilarious about it is that he goes the entire time dating her and then doesn't realize that she's trans. Like the whole time. Like, I'm sorry, that's actually really funny. Like,
it is.
It's very funny.
The idea
It's very
of Mrs.
funny.
Garrison being the best passing, being the ultimate passoid is fucking hilarious.
It's very funny. So, but yeah, I will give it to Lisa Goes to Washington, which like has some of the best Simpsons lines in the whole show. Like easy, like even like the small jokes on that episode with like the guy who's like, "That's the Jefferson rag," like that whole, like that whole thing. So
That's
good.
Great. I think,
but like he's like
season 3 is a really, really good Lisa season.
Remember, like she got into the competition because of the Reader's Digest, and like Homer like starts getting the Reader's Digest, and he's like fake academic, and he's like potables. Oh, does everyone want to come around the couch and read what the world is doing?
Lisa Goes to Washington is too important.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, Brother, Can You Spare 2 Dimes versus maybe one easily in my top 5 South Park episodes, Die Hippie Die.
Die Hippie Die is so good.
Oh, that's really hard. That's probably the hardest one.
It was so fulfilling to me personally, as somebody who has hated hippies her entire life. They don't do anything. They are there for it's the fucking hardcore guys who just go to the fucking shows to get their anger out and punch people in the face without doing any of the like other work that being in hardcore has to do. That is what hippies are, and I fucking detest them.
I'll do Die Hippie Die, even though I love that episode of The Simpsons, just because it is the drill.
Yeah.
Use the drill to get through.
Yeah, just as I suspected, you got hippies in the basement. Yeah, oh yeah, you got a drum circle starting. It just starts with the drum circle. Then you got a full-on music festival.
I need to get the new Tonka truck. The radio needs to go Tonka truck. And Kyle isn't allowed to, has to watch me play with it. And it has to be super shit. I only voice train for impressions. It's great.
Nice. It's good. It's good.
Good impression.
Yeah.
Thank you. Homer at the Bat versus The Tale of Scrody McBoogerballs.
Okay, I was explaining because Liam wasn't familiar with either of these.
Well, I had seen Scrody McBoogerballs back then, but I couldn't remember what the episode was about.
Homer at the Bat is Homer has a magic special bat that he uses to play baseball, but then after they get really far in that season of baseball, because they're the Power Plant baseball team, they had a competition where it was them, the Isotopes, against the Shelbyville team.
Yeah, versus the nuclear power plants going against each other.
And the owners wind up taking a huge bet, and so then Mr. Burns decides to hire all of these. Well, first he tries to get all the old players. He tries to get like Yogi Berra, and then he opens up the vault where he kept all of them like locked in a cage, and all of them are dead, of course. So like he ends up hiring like Jose Canseco and like Darryl Strawberry and like all these famous baseball players, and then every single one of them gets into some of the funniest mishaps. Like one of them goes to like, do you remember this? Like one of them just wants to like have a nice day off. So he goes to this like hut of mysteries, and it's like, pay $5, you get to see the mysteries. He walks in and then he immediately falls into an infinite portal where he never can escape.
The funniest part of that episode to me is the idea that Jose Canseco would sacrifice himself for anybody.
For anybody.
Fuck
Canseco. And like one of them like ends up like taking like growth tonic, and like their hand's too big. I forget. Is that Darryl Strawberry? I forget.
I think that's Sosa.
Oh yeah, that's Sosa.
Sosa or Griffey Jr. I can't remember.
Yeah. Oh, that's Ken Griffey Jr. Yeah.
Daryl.
Yeah, that's Bart. I'm gonna go with I love them both, but I'm gonna go with Scrody McBoogerballs because of the projectile vomiting. Because I also feel like, just like on South Park and Scrody McBoogerballs, I feel like EKKO ASTRAL, it's art that when you consume, you can't help but projectile vomit all over the place. And then afterwards, you're like, wow, this is like some of the most brilliant intellectual.
Okay. Oh man,
So said by
No, that was a joke.
I
was mostly commenting on Squirty McBurger balls and anything else.
So said by the woman who named her band after a Death Grips lyric.
Yep.
Not my band.
Our band.
Our band.
Their band.
I don't this is a total side note. Clip this one and save it. Why does everyone talk about EKKO ASTRAL like it's just me, and then Liam happens to just be like here?
Just in the background. I'm here.
This band started because I was like, hey Liam, you want to make music? We've been friends since like we were in college, and we've made music together that long. It really bothers me. People just call me EKKO ASTRAL. I'm like, you guys, like, I don't even write all the songs at all. Like, Liam and I get together and write
JL, when you haven't even put out your second album, and your list of members that have been in the band tends to look, in some ways, Paramore-esque. It tends to make you tend to focus on one person.
Nah,
yeah, except there's two people. There's two fucking people. If Liam and I like weren't in this band together anymore, this band would cease to exist.
Yeah, it wouldn't be EKKO ASTRAL.
It wouldn't be EKKO ASTRAL.
Yeah.
Like it like that's the thing, right? Is like this isn't Paramore. Like EKKO ASTRAL will never be me. Like if I wanted to make music on my own, which I will, like it will be me, right? Like
yeah.
Liam and I have been making music for a long time, and this band is like a bond that we've had. So like this whole thing is like Liam and I just like this is our band.
The point is understood and will not be repeated.
Yeah, I'm sure people will keep doing it.
Of course. This show won't. I assure you of that. Radio Bart versus Dances with Smurfs.
Now, can I play the video?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's see.
Okay, so just to set
our audio listeners, love you to death.
This is one of my favorite episodes of The Simpsons. This is so vital to understand. So back in the day, one of the reasons I love The Simpsons is because, in my parents' divorce, my dad had this, kind of more spacious home, multi-bedroom. My brother and I shared a bedroom in my mom's condo, and it was like really, really cramped, and we had like really disheveled place, like honestly kind of a hoarder home, but I don't want to get too deep into that. Nestled inside of this little room where I slept with my brother on bunk beds, like we had all these VHSs, all these DVDs, and it would just be this TV that was like kind of close to the bed, and like we would just kind of watch stuff, and I would watch to fall asleep and kind of bask in this glow of this like buzzing television every night. And I didn't have a remote control, so like I couldn't like put a DVD on or something, and we didn't have cable in this room, so like all I could do was put a DVD on and then watch whatever was on the DVD from front to back. And I got a box set of this season of The Simpsons with Radio Bart on it. And one of the discs began with Radio Bart. And I put it on, and it wound up becoming like the disc I would always put on. So like I would go to bed, and then Radio Bart would come on. And like there's this, whether it's fond or just like grown into memory from my childhood of like, I go to bed, and then I put Radio Bart on, and it's like Radio Bart kind of begins with like this like series of segments around television, and Homer wants to get Bart like a cute gift. Are you familiar with the plot, Veronica?
Yes.
So like
again, seasons 3 and 5 are probably my favorite of the entire series. Like season 3 is a really important one to me.
He wants to get Bart a cute gift, and he's like, what do you want, boy? And was whatever. And so he gets him one of those like kind of walkie-talkie things, and the goal of it is like he sees on a like you talk into a speaker, so you can say something and then it comes out of a speaker somewhere else. So you kind of like mess with people. Mm-hmm. So it's like he watches on TV, and Homer sees that like there are people who are like kind of like singing songs through a boombox. It's kind of like how it's presented, right? Gets for Bart, and of course Bart immediately starts doing pranks on people. Like, the best one is when he calls into Ned and calls into Rod and Todd's room and like tells them that he's God and that he wants them to do all this stuff. Like that's funny. But then the plot really thickens once he throws a speaker down to the bottom and convinces everyone that he is actually a boy trapped in a well named Timmy O'Toole. And that's where everything goes into crazy mode because everyone really wants to save this boy and they don't know how to do it. Things just start going crazy out of control until the #1 song in the country is the We Are the World parody to save the boy in the well. Here we are.
Okay, so again, sorry all the listeners.
There's a hole in my heart, as deep as the well for that poor little boy who's stuck halfway to hell.
I'm looking at Simpsons versus Sting.
To the next best thing.
And go on TV and sing, sing, sing.
And we're sending our love down the well. All the way down. We're sending our love down the well. Down that well.
Nice. Incredible. Wow.
Brilliant.
New favorite song?
It became the #1 hit.
I think it's pretty obvious. Radio Bart. We didn't discuss Dances with Smurfs very much, but it's Radio Bart.
It's Radio Bart. Dances with Smurfs is like a good Glenn Beck parody, but it's definitely Radio Bart.
Yep. Second to last one, Flaming Moe's versus Fish Sticks.
Flaming Moe's, it's the Aerosmith parody episode where they show up and they play at Flaming Moe's. Remember Flaming Moe's? Flaming Moe, do you know what a Flaming Moe is?
No.
It's a mixed drink that then you add cough syrup and then you light it on fire. Homer came up with it by accident.
Homer came up with the drink and showed it to Moe, which is why I put it against Fish Sticks, because Cartman's stealing credit for the joke that
Right.
Timmy wrote.
Right. It's a similar plot line.
Timmy wrote.
I would say that the Fish Sticks episode is better in terms of doing that plot line because it results in Kanye West realizing that he
is a gay fish.
He is a gay fish.
Yeah.
Shout out
I love
Bill
it.
Hader.
As a total side note,
Bill Hader.
As a total side
he wrote
note,
for them. Yeah.
I love how the Fish Sticks episode, Kanye West winds up still in the costume when years later he has to go around and ask people to not call his girlfriend a troll or a hobbit.
Please don't call me. Swear to
Don't-
God that my
My
girl
girl
ain't
was
no
not-
hobbit.
So good.
It's a good one.
Flaming Moe's. And then finally, and this is the big one, I think I have put the two
I know
best
where this is
episodes
going.
of each show against each other.
Okay, I think I know where this is
versus
going.
the Monorail versus Scott Tenorman Must Die.
Oh, this is gonna be a conflict.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, the Monorail one is great, but I just, the Scott Tenorman one is so legendary. Like, I made you eat your parents. It's just, I don't know. It always makes me laugh just thinking about it. It's so dark.
As much as I do
the most
love
entertaining way.
love a Shakespeare reference in a South Park. I do love a Titus Andronicus reference in South Park.
Oh, I didn't even realize it's a Shakespeare reference.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
I'm gonna go with Monorail because it's my favorite episode of South Park. Sorry, of Simpsons. Because when I was in middle school, I was actually in a production of The Music Man, and it's probably my favorite musical. It's just such a parody of small town USA, and the fact they take that and then they make it into this parody of like really like niche and kind of like novelty architecture. like the monorail is so much like everything we live through today.
Yeah, it's like AI.
It's like AI, and like I love every single moment of that episode. Probably my favorite one is I call the big one Binky.
I call the big one Bitey.
Oh, Bitey. I have terrible memory.
I would still probably say Scott Tenorman, so I'll make you do the tiebreaker, just because I also got to shout out, I think it's hilarious to bring it back to Radiohead that they actually guest vocaled on it, because they were recording Hail the Thief in LA at the time, and they just called them in.
I forgot about the Radiohead fly.
Oh, you're going to cry all day, little baby.
I think, so here's these are two of my favorite episodes of the show. My all-time favorite Simpsons episode is Springfield, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love Legalized Gambling, which is kind of a similar plot line to Marge versus the Monorail, in that it is about like what the town is going to do with a surplus of money, or to help with help with their economy.
Mm-hmm.
I think after a while, Springfield stops being about that, and Marge versus the Monorail is the same the whole way through.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Marge versus the Monorail is a better examination of every character. It's a great Marge episode.
Yeah.
It's also a great Homer episode. Bart and Lisa both have their great moments. It's a great
ensemble
It
episode.
gave us Mr. Snrub. Everyone remembers the greatness that is Mr. Snrub. It's one of Phil Hartman's best performances.
Rip.
Rest in peace to the GOAT, Phil Hartman.
And that's how we got the Monorail song, which is like one
it.
of the best musical comedy moments ever to air on television, I would
And
argue.
Conan wrote it. Conan wrote that whole episode.
Yeah, Starston.
Meanwhile, Scott Tenorman Must Die, it is a Cartman episode, but God, is it a Cartman episode.
Yeah.
That is the tipping point for South Park. And it's so dark and so fucked up, and I love it for that. I think I appreciate the heart a little bit more than I do the darkness. And for that reason, I think I am going to go with Marge versus the Monorail. This has been a wonderful discussion and a wonderful conversation.
Can I throw out one bonus round?
Absolutely.
Okay, because Liam was giving me some favorites of his that he has wanted to talk about. And I realized that if we're sticking by similar plots, Itchy and Scratchy Land versus Casa Bonita.
Are you Casa Bonita? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's great. That's really good.
Do you know the plotline of Itchy and Scratchy Land?
No.
It's a Disneyland parody. It's
a Disneyland parody, but it ends with like all the animatronics
Right.
like coming to life and like coming to kill everyone, and then they have to like destroy all the animatronics.
So it's Westworld plus.
Yeah.
I think
Casa Bonita.
Casa Bonita. Casa Bonita is the best Cartman and Butters episode. I plan to get a tattoo of Butters at some point.
Ooh.
There is a moment in it's the episode where it's the Raisins episode where
that's a good one.
Where Butters is talking about like I'm sad, but I'm also happy that something could have made me that sad in the something could have made me that sad in the first place. So it's kind of like a beautiful sadness, and that there is enough for me to get a tattoo. I love that little fucker. He ends up winning in the end of that episode, at least partially, and I love that for him. I think it's Casa Bonita.
Have you ever been to Casa Bonita?
I was in Denver a couple months ago visiting one of my girlfriends, and we drove by it a whole bunch of times. I haven't been yet, but
I haven't been to the new one. I went to the old one before Matt and Trey took it over, and it really was disgusting. It smelled like pool chlorine.
Nice.
But I really want to go to the new one next time we play Denver.
Yeah.
I would fucking love to go, if only just to get the sopapillas.
You have to. We'll meet in Denver at some point.
Let's take a trip to go to Casa Bonita together.
Let's take a trip to go to Casa Bonita. It'll be
awesome. That's it. We're not even gonna play a show. We're just gonna go
to to Bonita. Hell yeah.
Go to Casa Bonita, see the cliff divers.
The cliff divers. Yeah.
The cliff divers.
Jay, Liam, EKKO ASTRAL. It has been so lovely talking to the two of you.
Love you, Veronica.
Likewise.
You can find us on the internet.
The internet. You can also find us walking the streets of DC.
You can find us on web zones and red pages and blue screens.
And ezu.biz.
On realnet.fake website.
Yeah.
Links to all of the websites that they mentioned, as well as their social medias, will be in the description down below. You can also go to my link tree in the description down below to find all of my social medias. You can go to find every episode of this podcast everywhere that it is. If you really like this episode, please leave a like. Please comment what your favorite Simpsons or South Park episode is. Please leave what would have won your matchups if you were doing this for yourself. If you really like the show, you can make sure to either subscribe, or you can even go to patreon.com/the Cuddlepunk Podcast. You can subscribe for either $3 or $5 a month, where you can get early access, name in the show, all the usual stuff that people have on their Patreon. The logo for the Cuddlepunk Podcast was done by Lauren Young. You could find her Instagram in the description down below. The theme song for the Cuddlepunk Podcast is Lose a Turn by Maud Stout of Splitjaw. You can find all of Splitjaw's